When you get a cancer diagnosis, you find out that you need others in your life. You know, the Fitzpatrick Cancer Center has a great team, a network of people who will provide that for you, and you need it. You don't even know you need it, but you really need it.
The day I knew I had cancer was my 30th birthday. I spent the day in the hospital having tests. I was pregnant, so it was kind of scary, but at the same time, I think I had it easier than most because I didn't have time to dwell on it and think about it. They had to move so fast with everything and their treatment and what they were going to do that I had too many things to think about than to just be afraid. I had a baby and I had a son at home and I said, I can't die, that's it.
When I was diagnosed with cancer in 1994, I said, no, I don't have this. I'm not going to go through the treatments. And my daughter was 18 and she said, yes, you are, because if not, I would have died.
I never realized how strong I was until I went through breast cancer.
I was pretty down, but not ready to call it the end of my life.
At the end of my treatment, I was terrified. I thought as soon as everything stopped, I would get cancer back, and who was going to take care of me, and what was I going to do when I had not all this whole staff that took care of me for a year and a half. What was I going to do?
When I was diagnosed, I knew nobody that had breast cancer. So after my initial calls, one of my first calls was to the Fitzpatrick Center and trying to get hooked up with the support group through the Treasure Chest.
Treasure Chest is a breast cancer support group, but it's more than that. It's a place for women and men who are breast cancer survivors to meet, connect, and get support.
The women that have attended and continue to attend are absolutely amazing. They were inspirational for me, they're, I think, inspirational for each other, and it's such a simple thing to connect with somebody else. It doesn't cost anything. It's a safe place for any kind of emotion. You don't have to feel like you have to be happy all the time, because life just isn't like that. And you know, if there are emotions, that's okay. Emotions are part of things.
The Treasure Chest group is a group of women that meet monthly. We have programs that benefit breast cancer patients.
A lot of health issues, exercise, food, basics of cancer that we didn't know. There's so many different kinds of cancer involved in this group. Some people had a lumpectomy, some people had a mastectomy.
If a family member would come and maybe Kim's husband would say, you know, well, I went through this with my wife, you know, then maybe the other person would understand, oh, it's not just my wife or my mother or my sister. You know, there's the support, and you would understand better.
I could start to tell that she was holding back, or as soon as she would vent something that she was feeling, she would apologize, that she felt like she was just piling these things on us, where we were more than willing to try to help her through this. But Treasure Chest became this place that she could talk about those things without feeling guilty or without feeling like she was burdening us, which was great that she could have that place where she could feel comfortable and finally say the things that she needed to say.
Women are so affected by these surgeries. Society tells them that what makes them beautiful and what makes them feminine is their hair and their breasts. So they may come here feeling, you know, really bad about themselves, having a bad self-image, being embarrassed of the scars, and not feeling as beautiful as they are. But in this group, you can see other women who've been through it. We have women who've been here who are maybe 2 weeks out of surgery, and women who are 30 years out. So they get to see the whole range. So they can transform from someone who's feeling very poorly about themselves into someone who becomes comfortable with themselves and the new normal that they have. And it's a beautiful transformation, like a butterfly.
We actually got contacted by Patty Johnson here at CVPH. She came down to our store and she visited us, and she said, you know, would you be willing to travel to Plattsburgh? And I said, for what? And she said, for fittings. And I said, yeah, as long as you give me a room and give me a space to do it in, I don't mind coming up here. And we've been coming up here once a month for about 2 years now. We're really trying to get the word out there that they can get these accessories, especially those that have had lumpectomies, don't normally know the benefits of it, that they can still get bras covered as long as you've had a surgery based off of breast cancer. So we're really trying to get the word out there, and that's what these groups really help with, because longtime survivors that are very far out of recovery now know that they can get these garments, whereas they didn't know that before.
It's a couple of hours. It's worth trying. You know, the worst that happens is you don't like it and you don't come back. But the best that happens is you make lifelong friends and it changes your life.
In 2014, I had cancer again. And that's kind of, now you think, well, you better do something. You know, you have to accept it. And that's where the meetings come in. Say, hey, I have this again. I'm a 22-year survivor and then a 2-year survivor, you know, and it's like, it's okay. You know, there's support. And I should have came 19 years ago.
I was very afraid to come. I was thinking it's a doom and gloom group, and I did not want any part of that. But I was wrong. I was wrong. It's uplifting.
You know, when you're sick, when you're not feeling well, when you're going through treatments, everybody expresses, they say, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, you get, you know, get well cards and all of that, and they're sincere and they mean well. But when you come here and you sit with the other people at this group, they can empathize because they've actually been in your shoes. They know what it's like. They've been through treatment. They know the diagnosis.
Felt really good because I was hearing about people that were saying they were 12-year survivors and 20-year survivors, and they knew what I was going through. They knew what I was feeling, and it was just kind of a safe place to be, and they had things to share with you, things to tell you that you didn't even think about.
You know, there's so much you can say about this group. There's laughter, there's friendship, seriousness and sadness. The warmth that just surrounds you when you walk through that door is more than you can imagine.
My very first meeting, a lady stood up and said, I'm a 30-year survivor. And since I was only 30 at the time, when I was diagnosed, I basically said, I'm gonna be her someday. And she was my inspiration to keep coming to the meetings. And this past July, I got to say I was 2/3 of the way there, because I'm a 20-year survivor now. And her inspiration just changed my life, even though she probably doesn't realize it.
I would say try it twice and you'll be hooked.
It's inspiring to see other women that have gone before you and have come out on the other side, you know, better and stronger for it.